And hello, everybody. Welcome to our special live coverage of the assassination of Charlie Kirk. We're hoping to bring you the press conference in just a few minutes now of the FBI, who have got an update on the manhunt. And who knows, maybe there's more than a manhunt. Hey, Nick Parrow, how are you? It's good to have you back here.
Good, Zev. How are you tonight? It's nice to be on.
It's a late night again. It's not what we normally do around here, but it's what's happening. Any expectations for today's upcoming press conference? I mean, they clearly haven't got the guy. I don't think that's what we're about to hear. But any sense of what
Um,
else might be going on?
I think they'll give us cursory information. Um, they've already, there's already been some conflicting information that's come out around the um, uh, possibly what's been written on casings or rounds and I mean, all the trans hysteria that was trying to be wrapped into this.
Mm,
And so I think they're going to talk about some of that, maybe play it up. Um, but since the picture came out that it was a white guy who was I guess, the main suspect at the moment, um, unless they've caught the individual or they have like really conclusive evidence. I don't know what they would really be talking about tonight.
yeah, I mean, there
Um,
could be. You're right. Maybe, perhaps, it is about the trans hysteria. I mean, there's been a lot of connections made online between the person supposedly pictured here in their official suspect photographs, and various people throughout the day, different people, different trans people. It seems like a lot of times. We just don't know who this person is yet. They might have a name. It's rumored they have a name, but we've not heard that name. So we'll see if anything comes out. If it is a trans person, it would certainly point to an even greater concerning trend than just the political polarization of our country. Because, as we spoke about last night, this attempt to turn trans people into some sort of terrorist threat is ongoing and has been ongoing for many years now. So you
and
know,
they've been very tight-lipped so far about who the shooter is and information about the shooter themselves, other than just this picture.
yeah.
Um, and so they either don't really have anything on this person, or it's either they don't have anything on this person and they are gone, um, which is a very possible circumstance. I mean, there wasn't very much security around, there were no gun checks. They arrested somebody and announced it very publicly, and then it sounded like almost called off the manhunt for a while.
Mm. Which sounded like a
And
decoy or diversion almost, wasn't it? So like a
it was too immediate,
mm,
and seeing the gun shot and the wound and what happened to Charlie after being shot, like no one would have no one believes that that guy that they arrested had done it anyway. So why arrest the guy,
mm,
other than to make a spectacle of it? And so maybe everything has to be questioned right now
mm.
with this administration,
That's
um,
true.
or regime. To be totally honest, they have to be questioned.
Especially as we look at this with this photo here. I mean, this is a person they put out as a potential suspect, but there's no indication other than that he is an actual suspect. I mean, we don't know. We don't see him with a weapon. We don't see him on the roof. We don't see anything that would tie him to the actual shooting, except he's on location. There were 3,000 other people. So, we have to be very careful about everything, as you point out. We just don't know what to trust anymore and who to trust in this case, and
Yeah,
the
and it
haphazard
looks like
nature.
maybe they're wearing a backpack. Um,
But they are in the other
and
pictures, yeah.
So maybe they have a weapon in the backpack, but outside of that, like um I don't see a lot of evidence on this individual. So maybe I mean, it looks like it was a car parking lot of some sort. So maybe they had a vehicle parked somewhere else and they were just going up there to get stuff and then go to the spot and move. But it sounded like they found the weapon in in forested area
Yeah.
somewhere nearby.
It sounded like that was more of a,
Um,
and any other video they're sharing is also just this person supposedly walking. It doesn't look like there's a vehicle attached to it, so it sounds like I don't know. It
m-
doesn't seem like he's getting into a car of any sort, or so that's another.
yeah, and with the number of cameras and the number of video, like video everywhere. Like
Mhm.
we're in a society where cameras and videos are commonplace on everything all the time, everywhere for whatever we do. Um, it's hard to believe that one person all of a sudden got away.
Right,
Um,
right. It's also, let's be, it's not hard to believe
and
that
timing.
someone could have gotten away with this, because it does seem that there's such a cold trail here that maybe there was a getaway, that um, maybe the person involved was such a professional. There's that mysterious plane that took off, disappeared for 30 minutes. No one really knows what that was about. The two people who have now been identified, the first person who was arrested yesterday, and now this person could also be a decoy for all we know. I mean, this is a very highly professionally executed hit by all accounts. I mean, it's hard to see it as anything else.
Yeah, and I mean, even taking like Malcolm Nance's approach when he talks about all of this is just being very calm and rational about it, is it was still a terror attack. It was still done and perpetrated successfully thus far. Um, Charlie Kirk was the only one assassinated
Mhm,
and shot during it. So the person, yeah, the person knew what they were doing. Um, and we don't even know because we, like you said, we don't have a person to speak to, so it's all speculative. Is that Charlie Kirk was shot in the neck, but was that the intended spot
mhm,
for him to have been shot at? Did he move uh, just a moment after the round was shot? And did it hit him in the neck instead of somewhere else?
mhm.
That could have been even more of an explosive impact. And was that what they were really going for? And it didn't have the impact that it didn't galvanize the way that they wanted to. And instead, so many people are calling for reform and to collectively come together. And there's a lot that can be questioned.
Mhm.
There's a lot of like angles we can go on how I mean, who did it? Like, did this person get paid to do it? Is this the person who did it? Like, who was on that 30-minute flight
Yep.
or
It's
plane
interesting.
liftoff?
Let's take a look at some of these new pictures that were
Yeah.
added to this evening, or maybe earlier today. This is another photograph. So there you see the
Do they have
backpack.
a good picture of his t-shirt?
No, I found something that looked quite similar to that online, but let's see what they have here. Let's see what they've got. I'm seeing these for the first time too. So here's the backpack again. Um, Definitely looks like like a younger person.
Yeah, fairly nondescript white
Yeah,
guy
this is the
wearing,
same T-shirt that I found the logo of today. I'll show you what it looks like if I can pull it up here somehow. We do it this way. Give me a second here while I. So above us here, as it were, you can see the graphic that they have sent out of that T-shirt. But what it actually says, which is kind of interesting, if it's the same graphic, and I believe it looks like the same one. The one I found looks like this. Oh, you can't really see it there. It says, "Home of the land of the free and home of the brave," is what the graphic on it
yeah.
says. Maybe you can see it better here.
Yeah, and that's what I was sort of thinking was it looked more like an eagle.
Mhm.
And what I was trying to see was it the picture, the fight, fight, fight picture of
Oh,
Donald
okay.
Trump? Um, because it was reminiscent of that imagery.
Mhm.
But I'm glad it's not because I'd rather it not be something more sinister than somebody just wanted to assassinate
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Kirk. Like that's sinister enough. Like the
Mm-hmm.
fact that we're living in a time when political assassinations are again commonplace in America, or assassination attempts are common again in America. We've had at least three in less than a year, two attempts on Donald Trump, or two attempts on Donald Trump at the moment, that's what they're being referred to anyways as, and one successful attempt on Charlie Kirk. And
And
that
others, and the Minneapolis shooting, right? There's a
Yeah,
the
plus Melissa Hortman and her
yeah,
husband
yeah.
and their dog that got killed
Mhm.
and assassinated in their home. Plus, today, not as many people are talking about it, was Annapolis Naval Base was put on lockdown because of a possible active shooter threat event. Um, there was also a bomb threat called in to the DNC headquarters in DC.
Mhm.
Um, so tensions are escalating
Absolutely. We're in a
very
very difficult
rapidly.
time. And there's no doubt about it. This is just a very, very difficult time for everybody. Let me check in here to see if I can get us a live shot of what's going on. I don't know where this press conference is. I don't know if it's in. Do you know where it is? Is it in Salt Lake City, or are they doing it closer to? Must be closer to the location. Um,
Yeah, I don't actually. Oh,
just setting up there. We'll get the
I would
feed.
assume it's in Salt Lake
Yeah,
or in the Provo-ish area.
yeah. What do you make of the? And I don't know if you saw it earlier on. I analyzed some of the very interesting turns that Charlie Kirk has made in terms of
Oh,
his
the show a little while ago.
on Epstein, and it is remarkable to me. I didn't realize he was so his pivot on Israel was so pronounced, because it was not only on Epstein, it was also on October 7th. It was also um, um, on the Iran thing that we just heard him talk to Megyn Kelly about. There's a lot there, I believe. It looks like there's a lot of substance there that could really undergird a motive for this assassination.
Yeah, and I wasn't following until you had started reporting on it too, is the how strongly he pivoted um, on those issues. And it's I guess it's almost I feel weird now saying this in retrospect too, is I almost miss that part of what he was starting to do
Mm,
already, because
yeah.
that would have been a huge important voice on the right pushing back against this administration in a very vocal way, especially on something as important as what's going on in Israel, and as devastating as the damage that's being done to Palestine is, and the genocide, at least in my words, the genocide that is going on there. Um,
The Epstein
and
factors
it's unfortunate.
in itself, they're just getting started here at the press conference, and we'll go to it now. But the Epstein story is so crucial, I think. And, the fact that he even indicated that there was a blackmail. Hey, let's just join the press conference, and we'll dive into some more later.
Director Patel, FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino, Special Agent in Charge
Nick, can you
Robert
hear us?
Bowles, Governor
Yeah.
Spencer Cox, Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson, and Commissioner Anderson, as well as Commissioner Bo Mason, as well as some local partners here present with us today. Governor will kick it off. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here tonight. We appreciate the media and the partnership we have with you in helping us to get information out to the public so that we can catch this assassin and hold him accountable. We are going to share a portion of a video and that we have of the suspect, as well as some new stills. Those have already been released, but we want to make sure that they get as much attention as possible so that we can get help from the public in tracking down this evil human being. So we're going to cue up the video right now, show that. I've asked Commissioner Bo Mason if he would narrate to you what is happening in this video.
Thank you, Governor. Bo Mason, Commissioner for the Utah Department of Public Safety. If you look up to the top left, you'll see the building where the shooter was proned out in the top left corner. We'll go ahead and play that video and I'll narrate as we walk through that. So here you see the suspect ran behind that upper building. He's going to come out on the right, moves to this far right corner. As he does, he's going to climb off the edge and then drop down to the ground. As he did that, he left some palm impressions. There's some smudges, some places we're looking to collect DNA. There's a shoe imprint where we believe the suspect is clearly identified as wearing Converse tennis shoes. Again, we'll replay that again so you can get another view of that. It's important to note his black t-shirt, his black pants, and there appears to be some white on the soles of those Converse tennis shoes. Those are all identifiable items that we're looking for. In the stills that are going to follow this, you're going to see a very distinctive t-shirt with an American flag and appears to have an eagle on it. There's also a baseball cap with a triangle on it and a pair of around the parking lot. We're going to pan to the right. After he crosses the street, this is where he moves over into the wooded area. This is the video evidence that we utilize to track his movements and to locate that firearm in that wooded area following the discovery of this evidence. Good. You want to go to the stills? So here's the still photographs I mentioned. These have been enhanced. So these are slightly different than what we introduced earlier. Please pay close attention to the t-shirt. Like I said, very distinctive with that American flag and that eagle. The hat with the triangle and the sunglasses. If you'll go to the next picture, please. The backpack as well. All identifying features that we're hoping the public can help us identify and lead us to this suspect. Next picture. And again, there's a better picture of the hat with that triangle logo, and again, the t-shirt, blue jeans, and you get a good look at those Converse tennis shoes as well. We have pushed these out. We'll continue to push these out, and we just ask for the public's cooperation through the public. The tips that have been coming in are what are giving us our next leads and enabling us to continue to further this investigation. We've had great cooperation from the public, and we're continuing to ask for that as we move forward. Thank you, and I'll turn the time back over to Governor Cox.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Mason. I want to thank Director Patel and his team. It's great to have them on the ground with us tonight. We've had several briefings, and he's had an opportunity to walk the crime scene. We appreciate our local law enforcement here. Again, we have Mike Smith, who is the county sheriff here. We have all of our local chiefs of police that are here as well, all working hand in hand with the state and with the FBI as we move forward with this investigation. Now, I'll just give you a little warning. We will not be taking any questions at this time. We're giving you the latest information we have, being as transparent with everything that we have. But I do want to share a couple things that I think are important. We cannot do our job without the public's help right now. The public has answered our call for action. So far, we've received more than 7,000 leads and tips. I would just note that the FBI hasn't received this many digital media tips from the public since the Boston Marathon bombing. This case also highlights the dedication of our law enforcement community. We have 20 federal, state, and local law enforcement partners that are working shoulder to shoulder to find the person who committed this horrific crime. With their support, we've completed nearly 200 interviews. As you're aware, as has already been reported, the FBI is offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to the identification and arrest of the person responsible for the murder of Charlie Kirk. We also continue to implore the public to support this investigation and come forward with any information. We are truly hopeful that this video and new photos will lead to even more tips. We are processing. We have an incredible team, a state and federal team working together to process those tips. We are going out in tandem to interview any potential person of interest or suspects. But we need, again, we need as much help as we can possibly get. Any videos or photos that you might have, the public should be submitted to our digital media tip line, which is www.fbi.gov/Utah Valley shooting, all lowercase. Again, that is fbi.gov/Utah Valley shooting, all lowercase. You can also provide general tips about the shooting by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's 1-800-CALL-FBI, or at tips.fbi.gov. This is, I would just say, this is not just a local matter here in Utah. We have people all over the country that are helping to bring this perpetrator to justice for Charlie Kirk and his family. I will just add as well that, as was mentioned, there is a lot of forensic evidence that is being processed right now at both the state lab and the federal labs, federal lab in on the East Coast. So we are working in tandem together. I would also just add a word of note for those people who are spending so much time on social media. I think Charlie said it best, that when things get bad, we should put our phones down and spend a little time with our families. There is a tremendous amount of disinformation. We are tracking our team, the state team, and I'm sure the federal team as well. What we're seeing is our adversaries want violence. China, we have bots from Russia, China, all over the world that are trying to instill disinformation and encourage violence. I would encourage you to ignore those, to turn off those streams, and to spend a little more time with our families. We desperately need some healing. We'll have more to say about that in the days and weeks to come. More than anything, we are going to catch this person. Last thing I will just say is we've been working with our attorneys, getting everything that we need, affidavits ready, so that we can pursue the death penalty in this case, and that will happen here in the state of Utah. Again, to the public, to those who are grieving, thank you for your prayers. I know we are feeling those prayers. I know the Kirk family is feeling those prayers as well. We pray that God will bless our nation at this very dark time. We can start healing by finding this perpetrator and holding him accountable, and we need your help to do that. Thank you.
Well, that's the press conference. What should we learn?
That was a
That's the
9-minute
press conference. So what should we learn that much new there? Did we? I didn't get
the investigation
a whole lot
of
of
the
news.
No, not
Kirk
really.
in Utah.
I guess knowing more about the movement afterward and how the individual got down was good to know. I'm glad they kept it brief and straight to the information and data, rather than taking a ton of questions.
Yeah.
Because if they truly are in a manhunt at this point, which it sounds like they are, is taking too many questions, revealing too much information accidentally would give this individual a possible lead, to get further away. And right now, we should all, like the governor said, is we should all be hoping that this person gets found. And if we know
Yeah.
something, and if you do hear rumblings of something about things like this, report it, because it could literally stop division and chaos in this country if we find this shooter and solve the problem.
Yeah, I'm not sure that this guy is the shooter. We have to keep saying that the video that they're
Yeah,
showing does not necessarily confirm that he is the shooter. I mean, they're showing a guy coming off the roof there, it cut out my video feed, cut out there, but it was not. I didn't see anything that showed us a close up of this guy nearby, so he could be, unrelated. I mean, hopefully he is related, and he's the person that we really need to try and get here. But I just don't think we have all this information yet, and it's hard to take these guys at face value, really, to be honest, at this time,
Yes.
because we just don't know what their motivations are and who's running this op, because it clearly was an op, in my opinion. Look, I'm going to play back the few minutes that I do have of this. Let's take a look at it together and see if we can spot anything new here.
Yeah, and while it's playing too, one of the things I've been looking up is, or you're getting it ready to play, is
mm,
the I've been looking for this hat that and this design because it's being spread around that somehow this is a trans symbol or some
mhm.
bullshit. And I'm going to call it that. It's bullshit. It is not. There's literally no evidence that I can see, even one, that this is like a hat, other than maybe somebody made a custom hat,
Right.
um, which is entirely possible because you can get screen printers and make custom logoed hats. Or it's just a hat with a triangle logo on it, and it's just a common, like, generic hat, super
Mhm. We can get
fit
back to that in a
in.
second and take a look at the closer picture that they have of it. Just this
Yeah.
video here. Let's just thank you for doing that, by the way. I think it is important for people to research every aspect of this. So this guy is he running in front of this? Where's he? He's behind this little structure on top of this roof, right? Right?
So are you playing we've
Yeah.
got
Oh, you
the,
can't see it. Okay, sorry. I didn't
no,
have it up,
not
but
yet.
I have it. There you go. So I'm not playing the audio. What I've done is just I've got control over it, so I can just run it slowly or fast. But let's let it run once and then see what happens.
So they run around the backside of that structure, jump over whatever that object is, and start climbing down.
This is where they leave their palm prints and their footprint.
My
And
question is, at least for now, is do we see that they have a backpack?
they're carrying a bag, and it looks like a rifle bag to me. It doesn't look like a bike, like a backpack to me. And that's what they're saying is where they found the gun in the wooded area nearby. So, but I don't know if that's a backpack, but they're carrying something.
Yeah, because the thing is, if it's a backpack, wouldn't you put the backpack on?
Yeah, and it looks like a longer bag. Doesn't it look like a longer bag to you? Like it's
It almost looks like a sweatshirt, but that's,
mhm,
again, this is just speculation on a video that they are providing us from CCTV feed,
mhm,
that's grainy from a distance,
mhm.
is, but
People on the
it doesn't
chat saying
look
it looks
like
like a
they're
rifle
wearing
bag.
a backpack.
No, I don't see the backpack, and I think it's certainly hard to see how they would put a rifle. If that person that they showed us earlier is that person, then it's hard to imagine how they're
Well,
holding
it
a
could be a
rifle.
collapsible
Oh
rifle. They
yeah,
make
they could do that.
collapsible bolt actions. I mean, but typically they don't. I mean, yeah, if it's a if the but then again, if it's a 30-06 that they found,
Mhm,
which is what they're saying, that's a very standard weapon.
mhm.
Um, and those don't collapse in that way. Like
Right.
a 30-06 is typically almost 4-ish feet tall, three and a half, 4 feet tall. It's often a wooden buttstock that does not come off and is non-collapsible.
So
Um,
would it fit into this backpack
so
over here?
yeah, unless they have a folding buttstock and a folded weapon of some sort, even that doesn't quite look long enough to fit the barrel of a 30-06.
Mhm. Well, yeah, I don't think it does. And this guy, but as you point out, it doesn't look like he's really carrying that bigger weapon on the. Let's just look at this video again, shall we? Because is he carrying anything that really resembles a weapon? I'm just going to try and find a spot here. You can tell me to stop at any point as well. Like there you see the shadow of something, but that's where it sort of looks more like a sweater, right?
Well, okay, so that backpack could be. big enough. So the standard barrel of a 30-06 is 22 inches through 24 inches.
Okay.
It can get up to 26 inches. So if it was able to be fully broken down, then possibly, yeah, it could have fit into a backpack like that.
Now, here's the
Um,
image where I think it looks more like a rifle gun, like a rifle bag. Because you see, it's much more. I mean, it'll be. Do you still think it might be a sweater? It's moving
like
around a lot.
it's moving very freely.
Hmm.
If it was a rifle bag and there was a rifle in it, it would be stiff. Um,
Right.
and they would have dropped it. That looks like a sweatshirt almost that was
Hmm.
dropped.
And if it was a weapon, then they would have found the weapon up above in the roof. They would not have found it in the. He's still carrying the weapon at this point, according to them, because he drops it down here, and then he runs off into the woods and gets rid
Yeah,
of it.
and with
So
the shading, maybe there we can see that it does look like they possibly do have a backpack on. Um, that that said, it would be interesting to know
yes, they might have a backpack.
when, like, is
Yes.
there a specific timestamp on this video compared to when the shooting itself actually happened, and how long of a timestamp there was between shooting and them getting off the roof?
Yeah.
Because if it is a rifle that is, say, collapsible, they would have to take it apart. They would have to disassemble the weapon, put it back into the backpack, ensure that they picked up their casing so that they didn't leave evidence if that's what they're doing. Um, oh, and there is a timestamp at the top. I don't know the timestamp of when Charlie was actually
Um,
shot specifically.
I had one earlier
Um,
on. It's like it was. Let me not guess here, but I think it was in the. I'm not actually sure of the exact time, but it was somewhere between um, 12:10 and 12:20 in Mountain Time or whatever that is over there. Um, I think people online are saying that it does look like he has a backpack. Uh, and then people are also saying 12:20 as the time for when the murder. It does. Some are also saying it reminds them a lot of Luigi Mangione, and it does. Um, and they also said there was a screwdriver found with a gun, according to one of our chat people here. So all of that kind of makes sense. And maybe there was some way for them to dismantle the weapon or fold it. I mean, this is clearly the location that we identified yesterday as being
yeah,
the location on just the flip side of that. Clearly
yeah,
they
and
have.
definitely not doubting that he got shot and that the shooter would have been able to shoot from that location
Mhm.
very clearly, very easily, with a very high degree of accuracy, especially with a bolt action 30-06 rifle. If they have any experience hunting and practicing as a child in America with rifles, like you grow up learning how to shoot a 22 to and then eventually you graduate to a 30-06 as an adult. Like
Mhm.
that's your big kid weapon.
Right.
That's your big kid gun for hunting. And those, they have a loud ass bang. I mean, it was a very distinct sound. So it was, at least to me, from my experience, the weapon distinctly sounded like a bolt action rifle of
Right.
some sort, like a single shot rifle.
And that's consistent with
Um,
what they are saying. Look, I think we have to take everything that is being said to us. Maybe it's not, we can't take anything at face value, because I think the most remarkable thing about the event is how quickly he got away and how no one stopped him. And that plane is very suspicious. The plane that sort of took off and disappeared for half an hour off radar. Um, you
Are
know,
there any, do we know of any folks who do like jet tracking and things like that around those things who can do like corresponder tracking for that? Because that would be an interesting connection,
well, their
at least to
transponders were turned off,
understand.
right? So they were turned off for half an hour. And then there's no other tracking for this allowed by the owner of the plane, as far as I know. That the
Do we know who
owners,
owns the
we
plane?
don't know who owns it either, but I know people are trying to find that out. I think it's critical information, obviously.
Yeah.
Nothing's
And
much.
I'm assuming it's not something, say, of a more nefarious nature from an internal threat. Let's say it is an external threat that did this and coordinated these things. And again, this is conjecture. There's no evidence of any external threat that I know of, and so this is just conjecture of me. If it was something like that, it would make sense to turn off your transponder, have
Mhm.
your person not be able to, or all of the payments possibly things like this go through crypto. I would be interested to figure out, um, does, like, when the shooter is actually apprehended, assuming this is the shooter, did they have a large crypto presence? Did they have
Mhm.
a online gaming presence of any sort? Were they in unregulated chat rooms where Russian bots and Russian trolls and like 8chan style neo-Nazi grooming happens? Like, are they in these rooms that aren't being regulated and restricted, and are becoming very obviously, if not this person, but somebody else, very obviously, Russia is increasing threats around the world.
Mhm.
Um, and one of the things they like to do is buy assassins or use assassins.
Absolutely.
Um, so
This could be
we
Russia. It could be Israel, as I pointed out. I mean, there's all, the Russia-Israel complex, the sort of the mob figures that sort of make up the Russian-Israeli organized crime syndicates. They cross those. Some of them live in Russia, some of them live in Israel, but they all sort of move around a fair bit. They would have been very unhappy with Charlie Kirk's turn of events, because Jeffrey Epstein really was about revealing. Well, we would have learned a lot about this entire organization through the Jeffrey Epstein FBI files. So if there's someone who's motivated to stop the FBI files from coming out, it's that organization. Here, by the way, is the timeline. Some of it has been questioned. So I don't want to vouch for it completely, but I can say that 12:10 to 12:20 is when the actual shot came out. People are saying it's closer to 12:20. Then there's the first call to the 911 dispatch is 12:12. 12:21 is what they're saying. BB put out his first tweet. I'm going to double check that. Don't take that for granted. It's going to make sure that's the right time.
So before we go into the actual flight
Mhm.
and the BB and possible connections and next steps here, because I know you mentioned about Israel and his sharp turn there.
Yeah.
Do we have a timestamp on the video that they showed us of the person leaving, and does it fit within the 12:10 to 12:20
Let's ask
p.m.
everybody
period?
there. Is anybody who is aware of the timestamp? Does anyone see a timestamp?
There was one, I think, on the top of the video that they were showing of him, of the guy running.
Let me put it back up
Um,
for us so we can take a look at it again. Oh yeah, there it is. 12:23:37. 12:23.
so
Yes, that does
if
connect.
if the person shot, say, at 12, if Charlie was shot right around 12:20,
Hmm.
like 12:20 ish,
Yeah.
that's 3.5 minutes to disassemble a firearm, put it in a backpack, and get across a roof, which is reasonable. Like,
Hmm.
we're having this full conversation about that 3.5 minutes in less than a minute.
Right.
Um, and so you can disassemble a firearm fairly quickly. So if it was able to be disassembled, and if the barrel could come out and the buttstock was short enough, and the body of the weapon was short enough to fit into a backpack like that, then sure, it could fit in, disassemble, reassemble it, or disassemble it in under 3 minutes and get across. I realistic, yeah. I'm make sure we have, like, realistic points of view of what we think about things. Is that's a long time. 3.5 minutes
Yeah.
is a long time.
Yeah, and also if there's a lot of chaos and attention being focused on the front of that area where Charlie was, and probably not as much on the back. Although you would have thought that 3 minutes There is one person
It's a
walking
long
around
time.
here. Yeah, there's one person walking around here at the back. You can sort of see there's you see on this that looks like a street, or a path of some sort, and on the far right, under the trees, you see there's people walking there.
Yep.
I'm surprised none of them saw
As
anything.
though nothing happened.
Yeah, it's not like they're
And
running, but they're.
yeah, and like that person, one of those people looks like they're on a cell phone.
Mhm. Yeah, but
Like just walking around. Like if you were on campus for
Mhm.
that event, you would have heard that gunshot, and they put out immediate blaring like loudspeakers on campuses and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they announce to student bodies very quickly when an event happens, and they can quickly shut down buildings and tell you not to move. Like I was on college once, they can tell you not to move
Oh yeah, and they
pretty
lock it down.
easily.
They lock that place down very quickly. So it's a good point you're making, about the pacing. Doesn't look like they are concerned. There was a gunshot.
One is walking towards where the
Yeah,
shooting would have happened too.
yeah.
Like there's one person walking from
Reverses.
our vantage point looking at it,
Yeah,
walking to the left, and one's walking to the right.
yeah. Which is fascinating. It does not look like they're in much of a hurry. Which is, I mean, maybe the center is very big and maybe it's far away from the actual location, but it doesn't look like it for the setup at the
But
beginning.
the way, if it was too far away, then
Yeah,
the shot would have been a lot harder,
right.
and a lot more remarkable that they were talking about. And from the imaging that we were you were showing last night while we were
Mhm.
on, and the stuff that has been coming out, it wasn't terribly far of a shot. It was less than 300 meters
Yeah,
away,
no,
or yeah, that's not a terribly long
no.
shot.
Not for someone who's trained, like you said, and a lot of people have been saying that this is in the right hands, this in a trained shooter, this is not a very difficult shot. It's not the shot that's difficult, it's the getaway that's probably a little bit more
Yeah,
difficult.
it's the getaway. It's right. This is definitely about how this person left,
Mhm,
or who financed this person and motivated them to do this.
mhm,
Are they motivated politically from one of our enemies? Are they motivated politically from one of our allies
mhm,
who works with our enemies?
mhm.
Um,
It's
and
interesting.
or is it an internal threat?
Yeah. Or it still is potentially a lone person as well. There's that option there.
Yeah.
Well, interesting. When did these photos come from? They seem to be maybe they didn't indicate it was before, but it must be before the shooting took place. So this person must have intermingled in the parking structure in the campus, and then found his way um,
And
to the rooftop of this
they don't have a
building.
sweatshirt at least visible
Hmm.
here. So unless they have something in the backpack, say around a firearm, possibly. Um, but I don't remember seeing in any of the reporting that they found the backpack, but that they found um the weapon,
Yeah,
but
they found
nothing
the
about a
weapon and the
backpack.
screwdriver. I'm not sure about the backpack. Um, Let me see what they're saying here. Zev, can you address the question about 3 seconds instead of 3 minutes? I'm not sure what that means, actually. Um, yeah, so there's questions about, people are rightly asking here, and this may also be a decoy. We just don't know. We just don't know whether this is the legitimate shooter. This could be either, these photos could be decoys of somebody who's, person or suspect because they're acting suspiciously, whatever. May not be the same person as is pictured here coming off the building. We just, why were they mingling around? We don't know. It's hard to tell if he's got that graphic T-shirt on from this,
Yeah,
but
you
uh,
would, and you would think that there may have been a better camera angle for a traffic camera because there was an
mhm,
intersection nearby. It looked like there was a place that students would get out of their
mhm,
vehicles and cross. Um,
mhm,
and so I would hope that there would be better camera angles and camera shots.
Yeah. It almost
It's
feels like
also
they're avoiding showing us the front of, because they must have, I mean, the quality of this picture is quite good in terms of seeing the graphic on the T-shirt. How could they not get the front of that face? Why were they only showing us the graphic of the T-shirt? You know, it seems a little unusual to me. Um, and then we're also, people are asking, why is there no video of him getting onto the roof? Which is a big question for me. Did he get on the roof via the staircase, via internal means? Is that how he found his way to the top of that building, and then afterwards escaped by jumping off the top of the roof? I mean, is that a possibility? Because otherwise, why is he wandering through the campus? If he was getting on the roof in another way, you know, he wouldn't need the parking structure. He wouldn't need to expose himself to all these cameras, which he does in these camera shots. He would have found a way to just get up there as quietly as he did, coming down. So, you know, so many questions,
yeah.
more than answers for
Well,
sure at this point.
and we said the timestamp was 12:23, 30
12:23:49, if you want the exact
49.
yeah.
And so I'm checking back on what was said was that the shot was fired at what is reported around 12:23
Okay.
is what was said. So that would mean around is an estimate of roughly 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like like you got to give like you can't we can't be so precise and jump to a conclusion that it is a conspiracy.
Mhm.
And let's just
No,
admit
I'm not
that
jumping to that
around
conclusion.
220, like, yeah, because people in the chat, like, don't jump to conclusions. That's actually what whoever this person was, if they want to incite something more, that's what they want, is for us to jump to a conclusion
Yeah.
so that there are bad results.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think this proves anything at all. I think it opens a lot of questions, and we need more details. And I'm surprised they didn't answer any questions. You know, they have more information than they're sharing right now, obviously, and it would have been good for them to tell us why there were no, if there's video of him getting up, how they suspect he got up onto the roof there, you know, and the
well,
exact timing.
that building doesn't even look like a parking structure, but I could be wrong. It looks like almost like a campus center, or like a community, like a campus building, or like arts, like a something community student center,
It's
something
called the
like that.
Lossee Center, the LOSEE Center. And I know that Google Maps on 3D has a decent portrayal of it. You can see it here. You
It's
know, it's hard to tell. It
it's
looks like it's
almost like a that it's almost like that's less of a um parking garage and more of like a dorm center,
like a
overlooking
community,
that
a
amphitheater.
university student center or something, because
Yeah,
it does look like it's tiered up on the front end, but sort of one story on the back end. So it's on a hill of some sort, I think, in the way it's built. And
yeah.
so I think maybe at the bottom here, who knows what it is. And then, of course, this
And
other video.
understand if those stairs were where in the building those stairs are, if
Mm,
they are in the building specifically.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place? You would
This
think
is that
so.
video just on this taken
Are they putting
yesterday.
on the roof right there? Just saying.
And my
Ran
question
from
too is this the same building?
over
Because this
Yeah.
says the Sparks
Oh, interesting.
Automotive.
ran in.
Good point.
But then again, it could be. I don't know anything about this
Get rid of it.
campus.
There it is
Oh,
at the end.
yeah,
It said
it's
Lossee
He's already
Center.
in
Yeah.
place? You would
But
think so.
it looks like the same building. It looks like the same architectural windows and the
yeah.
same. It does look very similar to that. So,
Just ran from,
you know, look, I don't think there's a conspiracy here to fool us. I think that someone, you know, whoever did this operation is obviously a very skilled practitioner, and this was not I just don't see how this thing happens, and it's not a sharpshooter with a very, you know, skilled at getting away through a very, these are very stressful kind of moments for anybody. If you don't know what you're doing, you would screw up. This guy did not appear to screw up very much.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so,
There has been no like outcry of things of, oh, they left shell casing sitting on the rooftop, or they left. All that was said was they left a smudged like handprint,
The forearm.
a footprint, and
The forearm
very
print.
little else, and
Yeah.
a forearm print,
Yeah.
which is consistent with how they fell. You could see them hit the ground relatively hard. That's a
Hmm.
decent fall. Um, and they would have left a footprint. And if it's a person who was wearing Converse, I mean, those are super nondescript shoes. You wear those for a reason if you want to fit in and sort of just blend in with
Hmm.
people. Um, and that's what this person would do if they're skilled at what they're doing, and if they were someone who is paid to do this well. Um, and again, conjecture and speculation is if they are a paid professional, then yeah, that would make sense that they wouldn't leave a trail and that they would be able to blend in.
Hmm.
Um, or if, but also that can be said at this point too, is almost anybody who's watched enough spy movies is like, oh, I might be able to blend in well enough and possibly get away. The thing that makes it too coincidental on that, like just random person part, is the airplane. Is
Yeah,
the
the airplane is
is
a real challenge there. And let's look at that timeline. Just before, I don't know how much time you got here, but maybe just for a minute, let's take a look at the time. Do you have a minute?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just quickly look at the time here. Let's not talk about the Netanyahu post. And again, these times are relative to the times that you say was 9:23. Sorry, was that what is the time here?
It
12:23. That the
was
actual
12.
when you said that was the time of the shooting.
Yeah.
Here, I think people are saying it was between. You can see it's cut off at the top there, but it's 12:10 to 12:20 was the shooting. I mean, it could be any of those things. Let me see if I can get a better screenshot here. The sorry, there we go. It must be easier now. So then there's the first 911 calls, 911 calls where it's 12:12 is what my research showed. Let's ignore Netanyahu there. I just want to double check that. But then we're talking about a 1:15 of the private jet departing from Provo Airport. Now, I don't know how far Provo Airport is from the university, but I don't know if we can actually figure that out, but it's something worth finding out.
Probably fairly close.
And if that's the case, then we're talking about a time slot that seems quite compatible with someone wanting to make a getaway. If they had to get to an airport, enter the private gate area, I guess, and find their
Depending
way.
on where in Orem you are,
Mhm.
from the roughly center of Orem to Provo Airport is 15 minutes.
So 15 minutes. So you can see that makes sense. I mean, if he got off the roof at 12:23:49, he then gets somehow he gets to the airport. I'm surprised they don't have any in the vehicle. He's not walking there, presumably, or he's not walking. It's just so unclear because why don't they have him getting into a vehicle of some sort?
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes no
And
sense to me.
no,
So
no. And and even from Utah Valley University itself, it's even closer of a shot. Is instead of 15, it's roughly 13.
mhm.
And that's by vehicle, by car.
Well, let's say
Um,
it's 13 minutes, so 14 minutes. It's from 12:24. Let's call it to 12:37. If they make it to a car that quickly, then they're in transit, right, for that 14 till 40. Let's say 46 or 47, and then this plane
that's
takes off. I mean, not that they'll get there
midway
that quickly.
between.
Yeah. And then within half an hour, the plane takes off. So that sounds reasonable. I mean, it sounds reasonable that they would have gone, yeah, that they could have made that plane. That we don't know very much about the plane because we don't know where it went, and we just know that it returned to Provo at 2:05. So that's, I think, where we can call it for tonight. I mean, it's really interesting, and
Yeah.
Nick, I really appreciate your your knowledge. As everyone knows, you're a vet. You've got a real detailed knowledge of what it's like to be in the field. Do you want to promote your various, because there's so many, you have like a media empire, your various podcasts and shows with everybody so they can follow you, and everyone should really take the time out to follow Nick Parrow.
Yeah, absolutely. I run a publication called Sick of This Shit with Nick, where I do poetry, and a daily show. And then that's my main home. Please do follow me there. I'm coming out of a tech field and trying to recover and grow this publication into something I can do full time and really like make a difference with. And then my other one is my civic-based publication, which I started with Frederick Pogue and Lawrence Winterman, called Banner and Backbone, where we're promoting and redefining and reevaluating basic constitutional and civic documents, and giving people an entry point into civics that's easier and free, so that we can do the things that we actually need to restore our democracy and make it somewhere we want to be. Because I love this country and I don't want to lose it.
We all love this country, you know. I
Yeah.
had to leave the United States, and you know, I would love to be able to go back. And you know, the truth of it is, I can't go back there under the current circumstances. I can't be, you know, I can't trust crossing the border because I'm quite likely to be taken away. So you know, that just tells you the kind of mindset we're in, and why this Charlie Kirk thing is so important for people to really acknowledge as an attack on the Constitution, an attack on the free speech. And you know, I mean, listening to Charlie today, I spent a lot of time watching his videos today, and I was like, he sounds actually fairly reasonable, except for his, you know, his deviation into some, you know, anti-LGBTQ stuff, which isn't even really there. It doesn't sound like it's that heartfelt, but everything else, and maybe his Second Amendment stuff you could quibble with, but he sounded very reasonable on Epstein, on October 7th, on Hamas. I mean, there's just a bunch of things where I was like, this guy's not operating from a complete far end of the spectrum.
No, and I think he was someone we could have won, really could have won back and actually changed the mind of in the long run had we been able to get and talk to him more and continue to do it, but it would have taken forever. He would have been one of the last.
Although maybe I, you know, as I was positing today, he's maybe had changed,
Maybe.
and maybe that's what has caused this event, is that his change were not really something that his backers were willing to countenance, and you know, I think people should really not ignore that aspect of the story. I think there's a lot to it. So
Yeah.
Nick Parrow, thank you very much. Everyone should please follow him wherever he is on his various Substacks. But at what's the first one called again?
Sick of this shit with Nick.
I'm having you say it because I don't like to swear. But thank you.
Oh, you'll have fun when you come on and hang out with us for some of our shows on our side of the house.
I look forward to doing that. Thanks, Nick, and thanks for being here tonight, and thanks for keeping our audience abreast of all the situation and your great analysis. And thank you at home for watching our two shows tonight on the Charlie Kirk assassination. We'll continue our coverage on Narrative. Thanks for being here. Have a great day, everybody.